We've just driven about 3.5 or 4 hours to come say goodbye to some vanishing prairie sentinels. We're in Milk River, Alberta, and this is danocan.com. Now, before we talk about our main reason for being here, let's talk a bit about the town of Milk River itself. The town is situated about 10 miles north of the Alberta-Montana border. It has a population of about 800 people and was first incorporated as a village in 1916 and as a town in 1956. So let's take a drive along Railway Avenue through town. This stretch of road has seen a lot of changes in the last 10 years. The road used to be Highway 4, but the highway was moved to just west of town in 2009. It certainly sees a lot fewer cars now than it did back then. But the biggest change it's going to see is happening right now. All three of the grain elevators you see here on the left are in the process of being demolished and will soon be gone, altering the skyline of this small Alberta town forever. That's why we're here, to document them before they're gone. Now don't get me wrong, the skyline of Milk River has changed before. I have pieced together enough evidence to suggest that there were likely at least 6 elevators here at one point in the late 1960s. 2 of them were located to the north of the elevator you see here. I don't have any information on when they were removed, but I believe it was sometime after 1974. The elevator you're looking at was likely originally owned by the Ellison Milling and Elevator Company and dates from 1928. This is the oldest of the 3 remaining elevators in town. The other 2 elevators are relatively new, as you can tell by their size compared to the 1928 version. These elevators were both built in 1970. Now, originally there were 3 grain elevators along this stretch, but they were destroyed in a massive fire in 1969. I was only able to find one photo of that fire that I pulled off of someone's blog. I have no idea who the original photographer was, but I'll make sure I've got the link here where you can see it. Back at the turn of the last century, farmers needed grain elevators every 6 to 10 miles, as grain was hauled by horse-drawn wagons. As technology advanced, distance became less of a factor and loads got larger, and the old wooden grain elevator became a relic of a previous era. Modern high-capacity concrete terminals are now the order of the day. People ask me why I love grain elevators like these, and I say it's because they represent the heart and soul of a community. They were the first visible sign of a settlement as you traveled across the prairies. They towered over everything else in town. They were the social networks of the early 20th century. They were often the first place in town to get a telephone installed, and they were the place where farmers would gather to share news of the day. They were infrastructure, but they were infrastructure with a human heart. In an era before GPS and cell phones, if you weren't sure where you were, you would simply spot an elevator on the horizon and drive close enough to read the name of the town painted on the side. They were the lighthouses of the prairies, guiding people that were traveling across the dusty sea of the plains. So, as always, thank you for watching. I encourage you to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. We have a whole summer of exploration and fun ahead of us, and I'm hoping that you'll continue to come along for the journey with us. Bye for now, and thank you again for watching.